Hello everyone, this is Plankera. Welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue to rig Shalom from Path to Nowhere. I am still buried in hair, forever and ever. So I figured I'd go through and touch up some stuff, and then continue to clean up all my changes on the lower head turn. Because I had to make a bunch of changes there since I didn't feel like it was quite lining up correctly with the lower left here. And once I got the lower left looking kind of the way I wanted it to, I just realized that some areas in the lower head turn were not quite right. So I've just been going back through and fixing those up. Slowly but surely. But first I want to fix up some stuff in this lower left turn. Just to make sure that I have everything in the right place here, and it will increase the odds that I have everything in the right place here as well. So just checking along the diagonal and making sure that this strand is right where I want it to be. It'll make it a little bit easier to realign things on the lower turn here. At this point, I'm not too worried about getting everything into, or rather making everything neat. It's okay if it's a little bit messy, as long as everything is roughly in the right place. That is the hope here. And I'll probably have to go back and forth between the lower left and the lower head turn and pull things around in both of those areas before I finally get it all right. But it's kind of exciting because once I do have all that right, it does mean that I have most of this turn done. Just gotta, make everything clean, which will certainly take some time, but all the big decisions will have been made by that point. So that's pretty nice. So at that point, once all the big decisions are made, I can just kind of mindlessly go through it and make it all look nice. It'll be like the rendering phase of my paintings, where I just kinda flop around, turn off my brain, and just go. I kinda like getting to that phase, because it means all the hard work is done. Now it's just a matter of, tolerating a little bit of tedium. And that's pretty easy. It's like by the time I get there, I've been working hard for at least a little while. So it's nice to have that little mental break at the end. And that's when I can safely derp around and be listening to some fun stuff in the background while I draw. And in the case of getting there on stream, it probably means I'll be free to ramble about whatever comes to mind. And I won't have to do things like focus on the picture, make sure I'm getting things in the right place. I can just yap all I want. Alright, I think things are looking a little bit better there. Is there anything else major that I really want to clean up and fix a bit? I guess I'll go ahead and fix this highlight. It's not super relevant yet, but it is a problem that I see, and I guess getting everything in to the right place around here will make my work on the lower turn just a little bit easier. So I might as well. Yeah, that should look pretty good once I smooth things out and clean it all up. So that should be good. That should have at least the gist done. So if I see any super squirmy spots, that's a sign that I need to at least check something, and I see one. If you look like in this area right here, you can see it looking very weird when I go back and forth here. So this is where I have to determine which of these is correct. Kinda wanting to say it is the lower turn that has it right. Yes, I do believe so. So that just means I have to do a little bit more over here. Pull this on down just a little bit here. It's like this is a left head turn, so it makes sense that this strand would be a little bit wider than it is normally. We see a little bit more of that. So I suppose this checks out. Okay, yeah, that's doing a little bit better. Still got a bit to line up here, and I probably should do that before I go too deep into the lower turn again. Gotta space out some of these vertices a little bit better. Yeah, this little light spot that I'm circling right now, that was the area that was squirming very badly between the two keyframes, from what I could see. So I'm just trying to pull him down into a nice spot. So hopefully I'll have a much better time. There we go. Hopefully that looks a little bit better now between these two. Definitely does. Now I just gotta pull this guy over here and line them up this way. So this way it just looks like it's getting a little bit thicker right through there. Yeah. Show the turn, so this strand looks a bit thicker because we see a little bit more of it when she turns her head like that. Yeah, I think that's looking much better. So I'll continue to put in some of the bigger picture stuff here. and make sure that they will line up with each other. And then I'll worry about making it all smooth. Once again, I wanted to check if I felt like this area was a little bit too low, and I wanted to check if that was an issue with the lower left or the just lower head turn. And I do believe it is a problem with the lower left. So I'll just raise all that up very, very slightly. I think I know what I was thinking, but I think I overdid it. Yeah, that's a bit better. All of this is just all about the small incremental improvements. I think I did just a touch too much here. Just a touch. So I just needed to do a very, very light and gentle edit. Barely even touching my mouse here. Just super soft, super easy. Definitely do not want to be pushing this too hard. It's almost there. It just needs a slight nudge. And then it'll be just fine. Okay. There is perfect. This is just me taking a look at a couple of other shapes that I know exist throughout this hair. Because oh boy, is this hair just full of little shapes. It's very, very complex. Okay, that's probably good for now. Still just doing the lightest of touches. Anywhere that I think has a problem. Because I don't think things are too far off here. They're all looking pretty good. It's just a couple of minor little things that I want to fix up. And then all will be well. All will be well. And I realized there's a little gap behind her ear there. I think I was just kind of accepting it, but I don't think that's a good idea. Let's cover it up. We can put some hair on top of it. If I don't have it properly covered anywhere else, I will adjust that. But no, looks like I got everywhere else just fine. Alright, so should be doing a little bit better. Let me make sure things are lining up with the left head turn as well. Maybe not quite yet, but that's okay. I'll do a little bit of work getting that into place too. Definitely want to pay close attention and make sure that I have everything in place before I start cleaning up things too much this time. I would like to learn from past me's mistakes. All these little things that I just feel like were taking a lot more time than they needed to. And if I have some of the bigger picture ideas down first, and then clean it up, you know, the idea of do the sketch before cleaning it up and making everything neat. Then hopefully I won't spend a bunch of time redoing things that I spent a while trying to get into the right place. Because that's just always quite unfortunate, you know? It's always just a little bit sad. There's like a lot of wasted effort where it doesn't need to be. So I'm being a little bit more particular this time. In fact, I have a pretty big area that I want to move here, as you can see. That's quite large. I don't want to move it a lot, though. We're gonna try to be very, very gentle. Today is a gentle stream. We are maybe doing big picture stuff, but I'm trying to move things very, very little. Just enough to get them to line up here. Yeah, that looks much better. I think all of this will look so good once I'm able to properly clean it all up. Makes me kind of excited to work on it all over again. So yesterday I posted my weekly speed paint. That one was certainly interesting. I was not familiar with the character that I was drawing. It was a request from someone on Pixiv. And I decided, why not? It sounds fun. Let's do it. So I decided to go ahead and draw her. And it was... For some reason, that one was not cooperating with me at first. I had to do a lot of flailing at the beginning. But eventually I got it all to work for me. Sometimes I just got to take a moment, take a deep breath, and just look at what's not working. And everything comes together if I'm able to break it down properly. That is eventually how I was able to wrangle the composition in my illustration of Zero as well. And I still continue to be very glad that I decided to finish that drawing. Now I'm going to spend some time working on this little shadowed spot underneath here. I just wanted to line up with the bottom turn there, and there we go. I think that got it. So nothing should be a little bit better through there. And who knows, maybe by the end of today I'll actually be properly cleaning stuff instead of just getting everything into place. I just keep seeing little problems here and there, and when I see little problems here and there, I always like to try to fix them, so... I like to fix them when I can. And then I see here that this is not lining up with the lower left, but I do believe that both how this looks in the lower head turn and the lower left head turn looks correct. So I'm going to try to line this strand up with the lower left. I'll have to double check the upper left after I fix it up a little bit, just to make sure that everything still lines up there too. That's the problem with having to change so many little things. So I have to go back and check everything else that I've made in the past and make sure that everything still looks good. And that can definitely be a little time consuming. I do look forward to testing all of this though. Just loading it up in the model viewer and shaking my head around. Do a little head dance. See how it all looks. So I've been having more fun with Infinity Nikki lately. It's like I've been moving very, very slowly through the main quest because I keep getting distracted by all the little things out there. And I think that's a great way to play games like this. And just get distracted by literally everything. And the photo mode in this game is, like, fantastic. So I've been taking lots of nice pictures. So many that I can't even include it all in a single YouTube post because it caps me at 5 pictures. So I'll probably be making a few posts throughout the week. Just to kind of talk about what I've been doing and all the nice pictures I've been able to take. There's some that I actually really, really like. So I do look forward to sharing those. I wasn't able to get great pictures of it just because, unfortunately, while the game has a great photo mode, it does not let you freeze time in order to perfectly get an angle and set up all the filters and stuff that you want. Or if such a feature exists, I have not been able to find it. But I did find a giant bird. And if you give that giant bird a good wash, it'll let you ride on his back and fly you around. That was pretty neat. I tried to get some good pictures on his back, but like I said, it was pretty hard to do, given how much it was moving and how fast it moved. I did get a couple, but they're not super great pictures. I had to take them very quickly. Couldn't spend a bunch of time getting the effects just right. I also have several of just various points that I thought were pretty in the... Hello, Poctic. And yeah, it still does a little bit. I'm still tweaking it. But I think I have the overall shape of the head right. It's just certain parts of the hair are still not quite in the right spot. You see much more of the top of her head here. But because her hair was already so big to begin with, I just have yet to properly adjust all of that. Okay, let's see. What was I looking at now? Well, anyway, how are you doing today? Alright, so let's see, what I've been doing here is I'm still just going through and lining things up with the 2 keyframes around it, occasionally checking through the diagonal here. And I do think I have most things in the right place here. Might need to floof up some areas on the top just a little bit more. Actually, I think one area that I want to floof a little bit more is actually over here. If you ever notice me just going down a diagonal and staring at it a lot lately, or a lot, for a long period of time, it's because I notice something, and I'm trying to figure out what it is that I'm seeing. I think that might be part of what I was seeing there. A little bit of compression right through here. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. I don't mind the highlights getting a little bit longer. Ah, I see. Russian name. It's okay, sometimes it can be hard for me to tell. Regardless, it's nice to meet you, Rostek. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the proportions of the lower turn here. I think it looks okay. I'm still just getting certain parts of the hair into good spots. And it would actually be fairly difficult for me to generate a template here because this is not art that I drew. This is official art from a game. So it would take more time than I care to in order to do something like that. I prefer to just do it on the fly. Don't worry about it. I know my process. Appreciate the help. But I think I'm good. Let me see. Just means I have to do a little bit of extra intense staring, and I'm pretty okay with that. I do think that I might have put her bangs part here a little bit too low. Hello, Luminance. Congrats on finishing your exams. How do you think you did? And this one. Oh, very nice. Congratulations. I wasn't sure if you had the results back yet, but that's pretty cool. Good job. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to do all that. So does this mean you get a nice break for a little while? Now that all that is done? Excellent. I mean more, well, excellent at both the break and being able to watch more often. I certainly like having you here when you're able to show up, so... But yeah, it's good to have a nice break after you've been working hard on something. Pretty good. I have finished the upper head turns. I think they're all looking pretty good. So now I'm just doing the lower ones. Just realized, what, something like a couple of days ago that along the diagonal here, that it wasn't looking quite right. So I was... Yes, thank you. So just going back and trying to get that to align better, and then I was going to go line it up with the front head turn, or the lower head turn. But I don't think it's quite there yet. There's still a couple of areas. I don't know, it still feels like it's sliding a little bit. So I'm still just trying to figure out where those areas are. right now I'm less concerned with making everything smooth and more with just getting things into the right place. I just need some time to kind of poke around and figure out what's working and what's not. But I do think I'm getting there, slowly but surely. And I think once I get a lot of this right, the rest of it should come fairly quickly. That's the hope anyway. We'll see if it ends up being true, but in theory, hopefully it'll come together pretty quickly. Yeah, it was a request that someone just sent my way, and it was a character that I had never heard of. So I'm not familiar with her at all, so I just looked at some of the references that he gave me, and I was like, okay, sure. We'll draw this girl. I thought she had a pretty cute character design, and very interesting kind of glowing eyes. So I wanted to make them look very glowy and vaguely ominous. Thank you. I had some fun working on it. At the beginning, I definitely had some trouble wrangling everything. Sometimes I have a harder time at the beginning with certain pictures than others. Yes, that was the idea. The references that the requester gave me showed her with some kind of neat purple magic swirling around her. So I thought I'd draw some of that and just made it blue for the sake of minimalism. I didn't want to use two colors. Again, I don't really know very much about this character, so I just kind of went with some of what I saw happening around in some of those reference images. Did my best approximation. It's pretty hard to draw a character I've never seen before. It's like I can look at the features, but I really wasn't sure what to do for a pose or any of that kind of thing. I just had to guess, I suppose. And there weren't very many other resources of her out there, so it seems to be kind of an obscure character. So I didn't find like a bunch of fan art that I could use as other references for how she normally looks and that kind of thing. Just kind of had to guess with some very limited information. I have some ideas for next week's weekly speed paint, so next week I will be drawing a character that I am familiar with. That should be fun. I've just been very distracted by the release of a game that I've been kind of looking forward to. It was the next installment in the Nikki series, a series of dress-up games, and they have been a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine for a long time, and I've been having a great time with it. Yes, do so quite often. I'm actually doing so in one of my Christmas gifts for someone I know this year. We'll get to see some nice trees and stuff. And even though it was highly simplified, I drew quite a lot of scenery for Inktober. Just because that was kind of the theme for a lot of the prompts. I kind of like drawing scenery too. I still mostly just like drawing people, but sometimes foliage and some other stuff can be pretty fun. I have a easier time drawing natural scenery than I do like buildings or artificial constructions. Just because I'm kind of terrible at perspective. And at least with natural scenery, you can just kind of eyeball it, and it'll be fine. It's something I should probably sit down and study at some point. But I've just had too many things I want to do, so haven't really had a chance to do so. So let's see here. I think things are starting to look like they're not sliding quite as hard anymore. There's still something over here that I've been having trouble identifying where the problem is. But there's something over there. Let's see, maybe this just needs to... The side bank here just needs to be a little bit further up, maybe? I might just have to poke at things for a little while and see if I can figure out what's wrong here. Just because I do think it makes sense for, like, the tunnel here to be a little bit more blocked off by that. Oh yeah, that actually helped quite a bit. Cool. In that case, I shall go in and stop this from overlapping. Just wanted to see if that was right before I got this little piece off of it there. And if that's the case, if it's sticking up that far, then what I probably want to do is pull the top of this upward to match it. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. Like, man, when I came in this morning, I thought I was actually pretty close to having it, but I just keep seeing little areas that are just sliding around all over the place. So I'm just trying to find those and push them back into better spots. Yeah, there we go. That is looking a little bit better now. I'm just gonna move back and forth very slowly while I do some very intense staring. Try to figure out what's going on here. And I'm still worried about this little highlight here. Man. This right here has caused me some serious headaches. Stopped me from getting the shape of the tunnel area exactly the way I wanted. It's been causing me enough problems that I've considered actually going in and remeshing it a couple of times, but I don't know if I want to. It might just be one of those things where I just take that knowledge into the future with me. And do better on the next one. Just because it is such a small area. So if I'm being honest, what I really want to do... Here, let's see if I can get away with pulling this down just a little bit more. So what I really want to do is, like, push this down, like, way over here. The trouble is just by doing so... Also, pull this darker part of this highlight that way too. Because they are connected by the same vertices. They are controlled by the same vertices. And if I have that changing direction too much, it's gonna look weird. And that has been like the bane of my existence for the past 2 days or so, since I've been trying to figure out how to get all that to work. It's like, it's not terrible now. Not as bad as it was when I first started poking at this. So maybe I actually can do what I want here. Let's find out. I really should have continued this line of vertices out into here, though. Past me just didn't realize how important that little piece of that highlight was. I don't think past me even noticed it. Ah, silly past me. This is one of those areas that I do try to get right, though. As much as I say that maybe I will just have to ignore it somewhat and carry my knowledge into the future, I do consider this a fairly important point of the structure of the hair. Because I think it's a good place to show how her head is turning. And because her head is turning downward now, we see a little bit less of it. It's going to be, like, covered up. We'll see more of the hair on top of it. The hair right above it here. As opposed to the hair inside of the tunnel here. And because her head is turning to the left, we see a little bit more of this side of the tunnel as opposed to this side. Which is why I've been pulling it over like that. And I just think little areas like that where you can see a little bit more of the left or the right, depending on how her head is turning. It's just a good way to show how her head is turning. This area underneath here is actually way better for that, because it's like when I turn her head to the left here, we see more of the left. When I swing it over to the right, we see much, much less of that, and more of over here. So it's little things like that that really make the head look like it's turning, as opposed to just kind of moving around. Yeah, I guess there were a few more places that were a bit off than I thought there were this morning. So I'll probably take my time and really make sure that I get them all right before I move on. Because this is already looking a lot better than it was this morning. So I just gotta take it easy. Don't want to rush too much. It's okay, this is why there's like 160 parts right now. Because I'm pretty okay with taking my time. There's just gonna be a whole lot of her looking down and to the left for a little bit. That's okay. I think things are looking a lot better for it. Alright, and then I think once I push the side bang here into place, I think I'm gonna stop for today and grab some food. I'm getting pretty hungry. Let me hide the hair here for just a second. Hopefully make it a little bit easier to see. Which one is it? There it is. Okay. Give me a better idea of where I need to push some of these things around. So this way I can see the silhouette of the strand a little bit more clearly. Again, not out to make it neat just yet. Just trying to get it into a good spot where it looks the way I want it to look, more or less. Focused more on getting the gist of the turn correct than I am all the little fiddly bits. Okay, that should be fine for now. A lot of that is just going to, that I still need to fix there, is just going to be a lot of actually figuring out where like specific gradients should go, and also just making it no longer super crunchy and weird looking. Let's take one last look here. There's still something over here. I'm not sure what it is. I'll have to look for it in the morning. Wouldn't be surprised if it was something with this over here. Something still off in the side bang. But I do think I will take another look at that tomorrow. I'm getting a bit hungry, so I think I'm going to go grab some food. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on the social media platform of your choice, and I'll take a look, maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.